Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'm starting over with this video. So I started making a video, and I was doing that bit where I read what sounds like a fake ad or a fake mail wanting to sponsor my channel. Until NordVPN shows up, then I'm waiting. All the popular YouTubers get NordVPN. Anyway, if you want to stream terrible pornography and not have your provider know you're doing it, like maybe something, maybe one of those Game of Thrones brother sister things, huh? Is that what you're into? NordVPN. See how good that would be. NordVPN. You gotta give me some money. I mean, YouTube's not paying me, so you might as well. Anyway, I started reading one of these ads, and I got like halfway through it, and it dawns on me: this is not a fake ad. This is actually somebody who wants to give me money. And then I felt kind of bad, so I decided to redo it. Anyway, that's my life. That's what I have going on. Anyway, Jesus, yes, it is a train wreck. It is absolutely a train wreck. Um, Here we go. So we got a different kind of mail here. It says boredom and how we all have the power to make comics great. And this mail goes, "Hey Perch, I want to talk further about the biggest problem with comics is how boring they are. All the complaining about wokeness, Comicsgate, SJWs, communism, among other stuff, is just a way for people to rationalize the decline in the quality of comics in a way that makes sense or make money. People would rather believe there's a conspiracy of comic book creators to overthrow Western culture and accept the fact that it's more or less a mess behind the scenes. The idea, God bless you, man. Every time I've said that, people get so pissed off. It's like, no, 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 no. We've seen Dan Slott, and just 20 seconds with Dan Slott, and you can tell that guy is a criminal mastermind who is out to destroy Western civilization and can do it. He is going to destroy all of capitalist values and heteronormalcy one bite at a time. I mean, one step at a time. That's what Dan Slott's going to do. Yes, absolutely. No, sorry. It's when you meet a lot of people and you realize a lot of them are just either trying to get by or actively a shit show. It becomes very hard to buy into the coordinated assault on Western values. Now, I'm not saying that the actions don't decline society. A lot of actions do, but what's the expression? Useful idiot. Anyway, all right. That'll just get. But Perch, you fail to understand. Okay. Back to the mail. The idea of there being a plan makes people feel like they know what they are doing, even if it is BS. The MCU is not as planned out as Feige and the others want you to believe. Yeah, no shit. Sure, the broad strokes are there, but not the pieces by themselves. By the way, one of the things that I think Feige is best at is exactly this. It's presenting the illusion that there is a well-coordinated, orchestrated plan. There's clearly not. Like the MCU is. I'm not gonna say it's a shit show because it's not a shit show, but it is not. It is far from a. You do not have the brainchilds of all of Hollywood sitting together carefully orchestrating how each piece fits together. I mean, no, they've done a great job creating that illusion, and more power to Feige for making money out of it. But the MCU is as strung together as almost everything else. That's my take. All right, and your take apparently. So. Back to the mail. Vita Ayala, Teenie Howard, Danny Lore are probably boring to talk to in real life, judging from both their comics and social media presence. Yeah, I agree. For they write stories that the masses find lackluster. Granted, I have never read any of them. Oh, okay. Well, good for you for admitting that. So you never know. You could read them, and be like, "Holy shit, where have you been all my life?" Probably not, but you could. With no real excitement to them. There is something about hearing someone be truly excited by something that's just infectious. Yet social media is all about tearing people apart and creating drama everywhere. That's true. Seeing you and Joe just break out in laughter at something feels good to hear. Sure, not everything can be peaches, but it's nice to see real human bonding or joy at something. Anything to get our minds off how boring our society is right now. You have remarked often about the lack of diversity of stories than there were in the 80s. I think we need to create something radical story-wise, something so insane that makes it just stick out within the sea of boredom. I want to make mockumentary comics focusing on the most batshit ideas, the Walmart sexuals. Walmart sexuals? Okay. People are sexually attracted to Walmarts. Yikes. Or your worst nightmare. It smell like bad popcorn, those people. Trans Arby's. Hang on. Wait a minute. Yeah. Ugh. Or my worst nightmare, trans Arby's. People who transition into Arby's with floorboards and all. God damn. Yeah, well, that is batshit crazy. Sure, these might be hard to sell, but it's more interesting than the main crop of comic book writers. I mean, that is kind of what a lot of the underground comics used to be like. Now, you should be ashamed of yourself for coming up with trans Arby's as an idea, but your point is taken here. All right. The solution to all this, as we all know, it's it's City of Bruce. It's clearly City of Bruce. That's the solution to all it. Anyway, Mail's wrapping up and says, "Fuck it, it can't be that hard to write a comic. If Eater Mags can write a comic, then with Perch and O.J. Simpson as my witnesses, so can I." You're right. You can write a comic, and do you know how you can write a comic? You know why I know that? Because O.J. killed his wife. That's why. I want to write sword and sorcery, superhero horror, mockumentary comics, among others. I can be the most entertaining storyteller if I put in the effort. We have the power to create such great stories and crush our enemies, see them driven before us, and hear the lamenting of their women, including the lesbians. You ended strong there. Okay, that's Bill. All right, so okay, there's some. I'm going to choose to erase the trans Arby's comment from my mind and just get to the hope in the mail. So I mean, look, the solution to all this is make good comics, make good stories, take big bets, try big things, try that crazy idea that we didn't think would work. Try to do something out of the box. Try and do something unexpected. Why not? What have we got to lose? I absolutely think that comics suffers from a play it safe kind of mentality. And where, it's kind of like Feige trying to get everybody to pretend that, he's got a master plan to things. Comic writers, a lot of them, pretend that this is the amazing storyline they've always wanted to tell. Yes, I have always wanted to tell a story of Norman Osborn trying to be a hero in a gold goblin suit. That is my American story that I've been wanting to tell for the last my entire life. When I was a young child, I would dream about one day getting to write Norman Osborn, the Gold Goblin, and and that's all I wanted to do in life. And now finally, I'm doing it. So you can just feel the passion, oozing out of every moist page. I mean that's absurd. But yet you see a lot of people talk like that. What Victor Lavelle was talking about his Sabretooth comic, and it's like, finally, I've gotten the chance to write the comic I've always wanted to write my entire life, Sabretooth, and some people down in the basement of Krakoa. It's like, I met Victor. I think Victor's is a legit good, fun guy to be around. But of course that's bullshit. I mean, and I appreciate the attempting to bring the passion, but it's just so absurd. So, I for one would rather see Marvel go to, Lavelle and say, here's 6 issues. Just surprise us. Do you actually, that thing that you're actually passionate about that you don't have to lie about when you're in interviews, being passionate about? Here you go. Here's some money. Do it. Let's just see what you got. But why not? I mean, let's see a little bit more of that. I think that there's an apathy that comes through with the page, and it's people. It's like just month in, month out. We've got to get that paycheck, so we got to make a comic. And it's like, if you come in every morning and you work in a gas station, you're probably not that passionate about the corn nuts and the slushy machine and whatever else is in there. You just want your check and go home. A lot of the people in comics, as I've said before, they came from nowhere. These weren't people who, you think about the British writers who came into the British underground and kind of worked their way up and, got a bunch of pieces put together. And if you think about the struggle and the deep passion for making comics, and then that translated into bigger and bigger work. But when they finally got to Marvel, they're like, who is this guy? I've never heard of this person before. Who's this woman who's writing this comic? And then you go look them up and you're like, wow, there's like 400 comics all over, like a ton of indie comics and crazy ideas and all this kind of stuff. that happened before. This is great. Like here's where this person came from. This person has a deep knowledge of comics, and oh look, they seem to like horror. I hope they can bring some of that horror stuff to Marvel now that they've got a job at the big two. Like that used to be how it was, and today you have writers come in, and you're like, who's this person? There's nothing. There's no background at all. They came out of nowhere and then they disappear back into nowhere, and that's it. It's why is that happening? Well, because the hiring is backwards. It's an editor's is kind of like that convenience store employee. It's like, fuck, I just got to go stock the corn nuts on the shelf. And in the comics analogy, some of these writers are the corn nuts. That's I don't like corn nuts. So I don't know how I got so onto corn nuts suddenly. They're absolutely terrible. Not satisfying. Like nobody's. It's kind of like these comics. Nobody's like, man, you know what I need to be refreshed is a bag of corn nuts. Like it's just not happening. Anyway, all this stuff is just comics needs people who are passionate, engaged, wanting to do it, excited about what they're writing, legitimately excited, and they're out there. And maybe maybe that person is you. So if that person is you, let's get to it and get some of those comics out, because we need the passion, we need the stories, and if you just inject, a little bit of that into comics, good things will happen. Very, very quickly, good things will happen. It's right there. Anyway, thanks for the mail. Thanks for the horror show that is Trans Arby's. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for listening.